Are women becoming more masculine today and taking on masculine traits? And if they are, why do you think that is?
Why is it that pretty much all of the examples of toxic masculinity from the past,
Mhm.
promiscuity, sexual entitlement, hyperindependence, are all traits that are now regarded as boss girl
Yeah.
feminist power?
I don't know. I think it might be like a revenge thing. I think young women react to the very worst traits of some men by thinking, I'll just do it back and that will give me the power. So they're like, maybe they've had a string of relationships where the guy has kind of slept with them and then left or something. And then they think, yeah, I'll just do that to the next guy. Or, they look at the men doing that and think, well, they seem very confident and happy. So that's the way to go.
Okay, that's from the podcast Modern Wisdom. It's a decent enough podcast. I think he's done very well for himself. I enjoy it. He has some good guests on sometimes. She was a decent guest too, had some interesting observations. So her name was Freya India, and some of her views were kind of refreshing, not a bad take. And I think her take here isn't too bad, but I want to expand on that. The real reason why women are becoming more masculine today is because women do not trust men. A big part of the reason women do not trust men is because men are not showing up as the masculine version of themselves. Now, I can go deep into a rabbit hole as to why this is. It's empowerment ideology in feminism wanted to elevate women. And unfortunately, due to that victim perpetrator narrative, in an attempt to elevate women, there was also an effort to try to reduce men's power and bring men down and demonize anything that would be considered masculine. So, in demonizing men as a society and propping up women, we've created a society where there's a lot less masculine men around. What's being neglected is the fact that women crave a man who has masculine power. That makes them feel safe and that makes them feel good and it makes them want to be the feminine version of themselves. Men historically were out getting resources and providing protection, whereas women were making social alliances, raising children, and figuring out more efficient and better ways of utilizing resources. In the most basic way of explaining it, that's how we evolved through most of history. Now in 2025, we're in a society where roles are flipped. Women are men, men are women, genders are neutral. Women are out boss babing it up and bringing in the income. Okay. And women don't see that they need protection from men when that's actually not true, but that's that perception. And men are not seeing where their value is. So they're not showing up and being a masculine version of themselves. So when women don't have a masculine, powerful leader that they can trust to get behind, well, that means that's strength and masculinity they need to bring to the table and into their lives. So how does this apply to your relationships? Well, when you're with that woman, whatever masculine strength you end up lacking, she is going to feel like she needs to bring that into the relationship. She needs to feel like she needs to bring, when you have weakness, she feels she needs to bring that strength into the relationship and into the picture in order to compensate for your shortcoming. Okay. That is what a woman is going to do. And that's what she feels. All right. And she feels that way because instinctually, the gender roles as they were, there's an instinct to want to support a masculine man that she can trust, that's competent and capable. But if that man is failing in his competencies and failing in his capabilities, what's going to end up happening is she's now going to pick up that slack. In the process of picking up that slack, she is going to step away from her carefree, happy, warm, feminine self and step into more of a masculine version of herself. Now, on top of that, you have society that's giving women a social narrative that tells them having all these masculine traits and qualities is what makes them valuable. They have to be better than a man at being a man, as well as better than other women at being women. So women are having unreasonable standards placed on them, not by men, but by the narrative that women are promoting. Women are the ones promoting that women need to be strong and independent and do anything that a man can do because they don't need no man. That has been the narrative for decades now, and it's only gotten worse in a lot of areas. And so women aren't getting that from guys, they're getting that from other women. And then they're also chastised and criticized if they're not hot enough because they don't go to the gym enough, if they're not good enough moms because they're going to work, if they're not making enough money or successful enough because they're staying at home with the kids. You see, women are being placed in a position where they can't do anything and feel good about it. And that's not men that placed them in that position. That's other women that placed them there through feminist ideology. All right. So what's the solution to that? And maybe that's a little general. I realize there are men participating in the bad ideology too. So I don't want to get into the weeds, but it's not this. It's the fault of men that women have all these these unreasonable standards placed on them. It's actually other women that are placing and driving the force of placing those unreasonable standards on women. So what is your solution? Well, how can you use this? That's the question you want to ask yourself. Whenever there's something that's true in the world, ask yourself, how can you use it to benefit you? Well, you as a man can use this. There's a shortage of masculine men in the world. So what do you think is going to happen when you show up and you're a masculine man and you're also socially calibrated enough to not get taken down or, attacked for being masculine? What do you think is the results are going to be if you show up and you're a masculine man and you're also socially calibrated enough and savvy enough to not get taken down by the system or attacked for your masculinity? What do you think will happen? Women are going to be attracted to you. Men and women will want to follow your lead. That's what's going to happen. And then when you're in a relationship and you're dealing with somebody who is conditioned to be this boss babe, what's the most likelihood of her stepping out of that role, stepping off of that narrative and being a feminine woman? Well, what's most likely of her tapping into her true self, which is not to be a man. Her true self is not to be this boss, whatever. Her true self is to be a feminine woman. This is most women, by the way, not every single one, but most women would much rather be in a feminine role with a man that they can trust to lead. That's what they want. They're craving that. They're starving for that. So when you demonstrate that that's your world and that's who you are and you have good game and frame, and she feels good because naturally it feels good for her to follow a masculine man, and she doesn't feel good when she's following the other narrative, what do you think happens? She ends up in your frame. So the fact that relationships are failing and the fact that women are trying to be more masculine and men are being less men today is a fact that you can use to your advantage. When you have frame in your life and you tap into that primal instinct of a woman and ignite her attraction because she trusts you and trusts your masculinity as part of that equation, there's no bounds to where that relationship can go. Her feelings of desire and dedication for you when she experiences that is going to be unprecedented. And I have guys doing that all the time when they learn the skills and how to do that. All right. Don't forget to join my community for free. Links in the description. Catch you next time.